Make sure you got the right sink for your application. Triple check everything, make sure it fits in your cabinet. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot more work. Take this little bit of hardware off, the screws and little plastic nubs and whatever. On the back side of this face frame, there's some pocket screws. You'll make sure you get all of those out. And then you might have to look for them, but get all those out and then take a hammer and hit this piece of trim. It should break clean where the glue joints were. And we can sand those a little bit. And then take the piece we knocked out, make a filler for the left and right side that we can screw to the face frame for the new sink opening. And then add some framing to the cabinet. Just screw it to the cabinet. And make sure you pre-drill, especially these corners, so the wood doesn't split out. Get a nice good bite with your screw. And just make sure that the top of the sink ends up flush with the top of the cabinets. And the countertop guy wanted me to leave him a little bit of room in case he had to bump that sink left or right just a hair. I don't think he's going to have to, but I did it anyways. And then they'll come in and lay their tops, the granite on top of that, and run a bead of sealant between the sink and the countertop to seal that real good right in there. And then they'll also drill a hole for the faucet, so make sure you got your faucet there. It's a one-hole sink, so the garbage disposal will go right in the middle. Put some bunch of putty on there and squish that in there. And then under the sink, we'll take this rubber boot off where it goes through the wall, put the proper ABS fitting there, and then get rid of this old plumbing stuff. And then when you have your ring on here, tighten down and let it squish out for a little while, and you can clean that off. And then here we got the new fitting glued on there, ABS fitting. The old supply lines, the guy had Teflon tape on the threads. You don't need that. New supply lines have rubber gaskets in them that seal everything. And then when you get everything hooked up, just make sure you don't got any leaks, you know, real common sense stuff there. Make sure your garbage disposals, everything's tight and the dishwasher line's hooked up. And we'll get started on the backsplash, tile backsplash. I usually do the field tile first. Get all that on there, and then if I have any kind of like an accent piece like this above the cooktop, I'll save this little corner for last, or I did that last so I could take my time with stuff like that. And then make sure you tape the seams so you don't get any grout or anything in there. And I cut the under cabinet molding back and slid my tile behind it. Looks a lot better than if you were to try to cut your tile around it. So yeah, the homeowner did a great job picking out colors and textures and whatnot. Real nice faucet. Again, the trim, like I said, it looks a lot nicer if you can get your tile behind the trim, if you have under cabinet molding. And then a nice bead of caulking between the wall and the countertop, because it will crack there if you don't put some caulking there. And then the accent piece turned out real nice. Grout usually brings everything together, kind of evens everything out. Homeowner's happy, and that makes me happy. So yeah, don't be scared of these projects. Just take your time, get your ducks in a row, make sure you got all the right tools, and yeah, I hope that helps.